Yo, 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 welcome back to the Further Your Lifestyle podcast, conversations on lifestyle, passions, and hustles. My name's CLFurlong. I am your host, and today I'm super excited to be able to reintroduce you to Matt from Retro Gaming. Now, Matt is an incredible individual, young fella, and he is absolutely killing it. He's smashing it. He owns the business, Retro Gaming, and he's come back for a second episode to talk all things life lessons from business. And whether you run a business or not, life is always going to bring you a range of challenges. It's a given, and there's going to be a bunch of lessons that go with it. The key part of this is to take hold of those lessons and make sure that you apply them and take them into action. So in this episode, yes, we have Matt returning from Retro Gaming, and if you haven't checked out the first episode with Matt, it's introducing him, who he is, what he's all about, his business, Retro Gaming, and all the exciting things that have been happening there. But in this episode, we're here to chat about the lessons from running a business and how this can be an eye-opener or be applied to life in general. So let's not muck around. If you are new here, we are on YouTube, we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all those great places. Listen however you like. You can even watch the video experience as mentioned. But for now, let's jump straight into the episode. Welcome back to the Further Your Lifestyle podcast, Matt. It's so great to have you back here for your second episode. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing great, Chris. Thanks for having me on. I love doing these podcasts with you. I love just chatting to you, really. Like we're just chatting before this. We chat all the time. I love it. It's good fun.
No, I feel special. I feel honored, and right back at you, man. I mean, I love hearing the insights and behind the scenes of what you're doing and what you're all about. And I think, I totally agree. Just having the conversation more and more, off podcasts and offline, it's always been great to build that friendship. So I really do appreciate it. And for anyone that doesn't know Matt, Matt has been on the podcast before. He's done an episode talking more around himself and how he's been running Retro Gaming, and how he's built that, bottom up, and how he's doing an amazing job there. And I would like to say that there's a huge success already. And I know that there's so much more that you want to be doing and things, but if anyone hasn't heard that or seen that, go check out episode 1 with Matt, because it does give a bit more context for some of the things we're going to be chatting about today. But before we get into the actual topic around life lessons, how is business? I think last time we chatted, we were probably, jeepers, it would have been, we were both probably out of lockdown at that time. And then since then, we've both been through lockdown and stuff. So how's business been in general?
It's been great. We've been working with a few bigger businesses, like actual businesses, in getting some stock in for them and for their some services that they're accessing, which is really cool to get into the industry, into that side of the industry, which I never even thought was a real thing. And but sales are good. Like it really comes together once you get a great following and a great community. Like I get people reaching out to me trying to sell stuff all the time, which really just helps me. And it's just so much fun. Like I still enjoy it every day, and just lots going on, lots of new stuff in the works. Makes me happy.
It's so exciting. I love hearing this, and like I know a lot of this and a lot more because we chat a fair bit, but it's very exciting to hear this and just seeing it on your face. Like you can tell and see the enjoyment. And it is, I mean, unfortunately, no one wants to go through lockdown and go through the whole COVID experience, but video games is definitely one of those ones which was a big perk up because people just wanted things to do and be able to, I guess, cherish the small things that they appreciate. And video games does do that a lot. And I think it also speaks for itself how you said that, people have been able to reach out to you. And once again, for context, so Retro Gaming is it's an online store, e-commerce store, predominantly, and which means sourcing can be a bit of a struggle when it's secondhand and collectors items and pre-owned games, especially during lockdown. It could be a bit of a challenge, but it's great to hear that it's starting to run itself in some sense. People being able to give you those opportunities, which is really good. Well, I mean, I'm so happy for you, man. That's really good.
No, and it's just so much fun. Like it really is. I don't know. It's one of the best things, and I love doing it. I love everything about it. Even in lockdown, it was a little bit of a struggle to find stock, but I was worried at points that people wouldn't like list on Marketplace and stuff. But it's I don't know how legal it was at the time to be going over and buying stuff, but I was still doing it and still finding great deals. I was rolling through like my messenger yesterday, and like there was I can't believe how many people I message over a month. Like, have you ever checked that? Like, I messaged
it's
40 or
sometimes
50
quite
people.
sad when you think about it of how much you're using it, right?
Yeah, I through trying to find someone I dealt with a while ago, and I was like, just going through. I was like, this is taking ages. Like, I don't remember buying this much stuff, but I guess all this has to come from somewhere. So.
The tough problems of running a e-commerce video game store.
Really.
Well, that's a really good segue, man, because the topic we have today is some of the life lessons that we can take from running a business and applying it to life. And you're a young individual. You're only about 22, right? And that in myself,
21.
like
21, Chris.
21. Even there you go. Even younger. This
17 days.
This is what surprises me and amazes me, and a big kudos to you because, and I said this last time when we chatted in the last podcast episode, that you're doing so well for your age, and I think you should never take that for granted. And not that you've got everything figured out either. I totally get that as well. So the perspective we're taking from today is, we want to touch on these different life lessons that you've learned while building a business. And how that can probably apply to other people, and put some lens behind it. So I know when we caught up, there was probably 3 life lessons that you had called out. One being, be prepared to change the relationship you have with your passion, especially this one being a passion business. The other one was around long hours and hard work, and it's not really an overnight success. And the third one being, don't be scared to change what you are doing to be happy, which these are all very, very deep. So I'll back it up, and we'll kick off with number 1. And I'll get your insights first before we actually dive into it deeper. But the lesson number 1 was, you had mentioned, was be prepared to change the relationship you have with your passion. So what does that mean? Or when you say that, what comes to mind?
Well, I think all 3 sort of link together inevitably. Like, they all have their parts. But you when I started this, I was in high school. I remember, I think I mentioned on the last one, I was sitting in business class. I looked on Facebook Marketplace. I saw a PS2 bundle. I looked it up on eBay and thought, wow, Simpsons Run, that sells for $50 or $30 or something at the time. And it sort of, it was a bit of fun. I remember I sort of literally had this small little stack of games in like my little DVD room. And I just, like, every little while they'd sell. And I remember I'd go to Office Works and buy a letter. And, it was a bit of fun, bit of money on the side sort of thing. I didn't really have a real job at the time. I was still in school. So, it was good fun to just try that at the time. And then as it grows, like, I'm thinking to myself, what's this actually going to? And there's lots of periods where I don't even know what's happening with it. Like, I've had many periods, like maybe even only in the last 6 months, that I've really gone, okay, maybe I might try and actually focus on this business and really go for it. Because even a year ago, when I started pushing like my brand name, I sort of was like, oh, I don't know, like, this is it might not work. But I stuck in there and just kept pushing, and now I'm just seeing, I literally am just seeing how far I can go with it, and just trying to the adaptation over the years. It's trialing. Like, it's hard, and it's a mind game, because you don't know like where your life's leading in a way. Like, I literally don't know. Like, I have friends, I study at uni, and even studying a business degree is, to me, in my mind, I'm like, what am I even going into? I'm a business degree. I don't even know what that leads to. I have lots of friends that study medicine, and like, I'm just like, okay, well, they're going to be in a great salary. They're going to, like, it seems like they're going straight into a great career. And then I'm just sitting here like, I have a business that could go well, could fail. I don't know, but I'm going to try it and see how far I can get with it.
Yeah, it's a very good perspective, because I mean, like, even before, let's say you didn't have a business when you first started getting into, university and studying and stuff. And going into it, like, I remember myself, I went into IT, studied, Bachelor of IT, and in the back of my mind, I knew I wanted to do something in IT, but that's because naturally that's what I was good at. That's what people told me I was good at. And, I didn't really know what that would look like on the other end. Like, you don't, like, because that go do 3 years and you can go work for a consulting company or work in IT, it's really lucrative, and you're like, okay, but you don't know what that means. And, 8 years later, after working, the 9 to 5, and now I'm doing this, it changes, it adapts. And would I have said that doing IT was my passion? Well, yes. I mean, I used to build computers and sell them for people. Like, I enjoyed doing that. And then that was traditionally what IT was. People think, oh, you're studying how to build computers. I'm like, no, I'm studying how to do consulting. But, people didn't really bring those two together. But then as you go through it, it evolves, it changes, and it adapts. And I think you said it really well, because you're doing this business now, and, yes, you've been doing it for a few years. It's going well, but that doesn't define the rest of your life. It doesn't actually define what else you're going to be doing. And you could pivot, you could adjust. I do like how you said that, you've kind of just been just doing it, and you haven't really been really doubling down and focusing, which is really cool, because that's the passion component speaking for itself. Because if you're passionate, it kind of naturally happens, right?
Yeah. I feel like there was a lot of natural from, like, going from eBay really young and like really getting onto it. Like, I saw a kid the other day. I don't even know who he was. But I think I followed him on Instagram. He looks like he's like 12 doing reselling. And I was thinking, damn, this kid's going far. Like, I started when I was 17.
Yeah.
And like, he's already on it making content. And I was like, this is insane. I wish I had his name. But like, it's that eBay grind that has always kept me. It's like, I can work whenever I want. I can do whatever I like whenever I need to. And then the gaming aspect just, I don't know, it just struck a nerve for me, because it was just so nostalgic, so much fun. And like pushing eBay, like eBay now, I've branched out into different aspects of things, DVDs, books, clothes, but like still highly gaming related items. And, that's still what I am passionate about. So like, I can never come back to not loving this. And like I was saying to you the other day, like I feel like this is a job that I could do forever. I could stop it for 10 years and come back to it and be like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. It's not really that hard to me. It's not even hard for me to do. So I literally enjoy it. Like, I sit down for hours, I put on a movie, and I just like list up games, and it's interesting. Like, you're learning about the market prices, like you're learning how it all works. Like it's business, and that's it's your own business, your own work ethic to get it done, and it's so enjoyable.
It's kind of ironic, because there's so many of us in the same situation, like other people your age, younger, older, my age, and we're doing all these things, we're doing life, and we've got all these passions, these hobbies, that we don't actually realize how, I guess, powerful they could be, how lucrative they could be, or the possibilities of monetization. That I was reading a quote somewhere on LinkedIn. I think the guy's name was Justin Welsh, or anyway, and I read it, and he said he reckons that everyone that's that's gone through a bit of experience, whether it's 2-3 years of high school, university, or even working, that they've probably got about $1,000 worth of product, or like something that you could create and sell on their Google Drive. And what he means by that is, your expertise naturally is video games. You don't have to think about it. You just do what you do. For me, I used to do the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I used to do other things, and now I'm evolving and changing. But there's things that I'm just naturally good at, setting up I was always good at doing computers. So I was the one in the family that helped, fix a computer, or, reinstall Windows, or what. I was just naturally good at it. I just got it. It made sense. So there's probably all these things, anyone listening, that you've probably got something that you're good at. Well, maybe you don't know you're good at. You are good at it, but you probably underestimate how good you are. And there's one piece of feedback that I always encourage people to do is, like, if you don't know what you're good at, ask 5, 6, 10 people around you. They'll soon tell you, oh, you're good at that. Oh, you're good at that. Or what are the people always telling you that you're good at? And that will really start to help you understand, oh, actually, there's probably some potential here, which it's dude. I love how you've put the passion together with your business, and that it kind of just naturally happened, because sometimes it's not that easy, right? As I kind of just alluded to.
Yeah, well, I do consider myself quite lucky to be where I am, and in many days, like I think, and I'm like, do I really want to do this? Like, and I don't know. I used to work at Woolworths a few years ago, and like, it wasn't too bad. Like, I'm nothing wrong with working at Woolworths. I had a great time there, but it just wasn't my sort of thing. Like, they were always asking me to do extra hours. And it's just like, towards the end of it, I was just getting really sick of even going to shifts. Like, and I was working in the deli, which was like the funnest part. And like, you know, I was having so much fun in there, just messing around. But you know, doing this job is, you know, you work for yourself. You don't know what you're getting in. You don't know how much money is going to come in.
Yep.
And that can be a worry, but it's just, you know, exactly what you mean of trying to create content. And even a talk with you the other day I had sort of really opened me up to your processing of where you're going with your life, and how you're financially thinking with all your content. And that really opened my mind to how I can lead my other passions, my other passions into monetary areas. And like, it's so interesting that is now a society that we live in, where you can be active on social media accounts or be passionate just about what you love and make money for it. I don't know if you've seen, there's a guy on TikTok, he likes trains. I don't know if you've ever seen
No,
him.
I haven't seen this one. No.
British guy, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen him, and he has like he would go and sit at train stations, and he'll just watch the trains, and he'll be like, this is my favorite train coming in right now. And he has like,
I can
imagine
it.
A couple million followers on TikTok, and it's just like, you know, he just was passionate about trains, and that's, you know, leading to, I'm guessing, a high monetary value right now, and he's probably making good money from just loving what he does.
It's funny because you see that and then you think that you can just go quickly mirror that, which isn't true, but in some sense it is. Like, I think when people are expecting to just jump in and make, you know, get rich overnight, you know, I think it's a wrong expectation, because, you know, different circumstances, maybe one of these videos went viral and it's picked up momentum. But at the same time, if you don't start and if you don't do it with the right intent, well, you're never going to know. It's kind of like, you know, if there's, it's, for me, speaking to myself right here, you know, there's people that I would love to interview on this podcast, but they might have, you know, 20, 30,000 following, you know, and I'm, you know, it's that debate of like, you know, they would never have time for me. So you don't reach out. But, you know, if you don't reach out, well, actually, you can never get a yes. You can only always get a no. So if you don't start, you're not going to know, right? And it's, you know, success takes time. And it's, you already mentioned that, you know, you are working for yourself. You're doing a lot. You don't know if you're going to earn the same amount of money as you earned last week or month or whatever, which kind of brings me to life lesson number 2, which is around, you know, the long hours, the hard work, and it's not overnight success. So what's your take on that? Because obviously you've experienced it.
Well, I've had a few very long hours. There was a period earlier when I started this business, I had to list up, you know, 1,000 items, and I was doing really detailed listings at the time, which I've scaled back now. But I stayed up all night, New Year's Eve, I think. Like, just some days I would stay up till 4 a.m. I'd just be smashing monsters, just relaxing and just doing stuff. And like, I had this really hard drive, which I still do have to a degree. Like, I channeled it back because I like to wake up early and you have to get into a routine at some point. But you know, it is so hard. Like, I don't pay myself a wage at the moment. Like, I'm still living on that edge of, like, I don't know how much I'm going to have, but I know that I'm still working towards that success. And I'm happy with that. Like, I know that, like, a lot of people tell me you should pay yourself. I'm just like, I don't have anything to buy. Like, I don't want the money to be sitting there just doing nothing. I know I can invest in stuff. It's just like, I'd rather.
I was going to say that's a whole different conversation.
That's a whole different conversation. But I'd rather invest in myself at the moment and focus on one thing than just try and spread it out into some other areas when I know that I need the money here. Like I don't have much money all the time. So like, you know, if I had $5,000 in my own account, like invested in stuff, and I don't even have any money for the business, I have to get a loan for the business or something. It's just like, what am I doing? You know?
Yeah, no, it does make sense. And I think it's a great investment. You're like, we started with, you're young, you've got plenty of time. If things fail, you can always get a job, and you can always go, get money and get an income. But in reinvesting in yourself and reinvesting in the business is the best time to do it if you can afford it, if it makes sense with the circumstance, because it's only going to help it scale, right? And let's back it up a little bit around, you know, working the long hours and stuff. I think the reality is, for people to understand whether you're pursuing a passion, building a business, whatever, you know, even effort and time, if you're trying to lose weight, it's not like you can just go do 10 push-ups and yeah, you're all good. You got to do 10 push-ups every day for the next, 1,000 days. Nothing comes easy in life, or nothing is for free. And I think as looking, in from what we see from face value of like, scrolling through your Instagram or on your website and seeing, all the sales, all the stuff that you're getting. Yeah, it looks really, really good. It looks really, really easy. You make it look easy, but the reality is, that's not the case. There's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of process. It gets easier as you go. But it's a long grind. And I would love to know, obviously you'll have to roughly estimate it, but how much hours do you think you put in on a weekly basis? And I know this is your life, so it's hard to do, but like, if you were to put a number to it of that you're actually doing, like working in the business, not necessarily on, because you're probably always thinking, how much time do you think you spend on it?
I spend like 6 to 8 hours a day at least.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd probably say 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
that'd be a minimum. So
yeah. Well, I mean, which is a standard working job, but the difference is there's that momentum and excitement to it, and thrive and passion, which makes it a lot easier. I'm the same. Like, some days obviously easier than others, but I'm always thinking about it, or thinking I've got to do this, got to do that, or doing the podcast, or shuffling over to do my YouTube videos. So I'm always doing something, and I'm probably working 50, 60 hour weeks. But I feel free. I feel that I don't have to worry about it. Yeah.
And I think that comes down to the time and like I can give I can work late ridiculous hours because I can, go and do stuff in the morning till 12 noon, and then I can go, okay, I'm gonna go home and do the postage, and then I'm gonna work from 6 till 12 o'clock. And like for some people that might be, oh, I want to relax. And sometimes I get frustrated. My friends might be playing PlayStation and I'm like, no, you have to, do this. Or I might want to just go relax and, learn, play the guitar. I don't know, just chill out. But, I think that's where the passion comes in again, is when you're passionate about it, it's not work anymore. It's just enjoyable. And the fact that I can put something on the TV, I'm already in that relaxed zone.
Yeah.
And it's not like a manual, like a really labor intensive job. Like, sure, you do have to think about it at points when you're doing marketing, when you're thinking about like a lot of the logisticals, like that can sometimes be, okay, I need to focus, I'm going to get a coffee. But, most of the time, it's just the passion that drives me to put in these hours, and that's inevitably what leads to the success I found so far, at least.
Yeah. Plus it also comes back to like, you're thinking a bit bigger picture, even if you don't consciously know it. You're knowing that I'm doing this because it's going to enable me to be able to do something else later. Or if you get these listings, or if you get this store updated with this much stock, it means next week you don't have to do as much. Or coming to Christmas, if you can get ahead, it means you'll be able to take, it's all that, advanced thinking. But it's like with anything, right? It's like with your relationships, it's like with health, mindset, dreams, goals, finances, all areas of life. I mean, when push comes to shove, it really does come down to just doing the work, but also understanding the why. Some people are motivated, you're motivated to do your business, but maybe you're not motivated to, eat healthy, or maybe you're not hitting the gym every day. Whereas there's plenty of gym junkies out there smashing the gym, but they don't know how to run a business. They're not running a business. That their passion is the gym. And, to be able to do all of those obviously would be great and beautiful. But as things progress, you have to, okay, how am I going to manage my health? How am I going to manage my finances? How am I going to manage my business? How am I going to manage my relationships? And the only way to do it is, you have to do the hard work, and, not just see the highlight reels of people's lives, I guess. But understand that it just takes blood, sweat, and tears.
And everyone's different as well. Like I'll see friends that, they think, I see their Instagrams, I'll see them out, they're really happy, it looks like they're having a great time, and they're really popular. And I get jealous of them sometimes. And then I think, like, that doesn't just define themselves. Like they're like, I'm so happy with my job, for example. Like that might not be somewhere they're at. Like, and it's all about a learning process, especially I'm finding in my 20s. Like I'm just trying to figure out exactly how to make myself happy in every distinct way. And, it's not always a success. Like there's a lot of failures, and just trying to get to that grind of finding exactly what I want to do every day to keep myself happy and make my future self happy is what I'm trying to focus on at the moment. And it's hard work, but it's what needs to be done to get the business growing, to get your passions flowing.
I think it's some of the best advice you could give, and for people to hear, is because especially at a younger age, as you get older, more responsibilities naturally come. Not always, not everyone. Like, I mean, I'm 30 and still living at home, but I have responsibilities. I have things that I have to manage and look after, whether it's my own doing or just people in my life. But as you get older, the time can become a bit harder to crunch through. Which meaning, if you've got the time when you're younger to explore, experiment, risk, chance, and understand what it is that you love to do, then do it. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't go, get a university degree, jump straight into working, because that's what I did. Went straight from uni straight into working, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to work, 10 years, set myself up, and then I'll figure out how to, make a living for myself. Which, eventually going through that experience, you realize, okay, things are changing. My perspective, what I want, what I wanted back then is not what I want now, when, things didn't go as planned and life gets in the way, and, just everything. And I think being able to adapt and being willing to understand that things will change and getting comfortable with that, it's a necessary thing that needs to happen, which is actually point 3 around the life lesson around, don't be scared to change, what you're doing to be happy. And I think that can be quite a lot to digest, but you said it yourself, you're trying to understand, well, what is it that's making you happy, and what does that look like? And will that be the same now to what it will be 2, 5, 10 years away? It's hard to understand, but being willing to, I guess, entertain that, or being willing to accept it is the whole different conversation. So my question to you is, when you thought about, don't be scared to change what you're doing to be happy, what really was on your mind when you said that?
I for a millennial, I feel like it was a lot, like I've definitely felt like social media has, and I talked to you about it the other day, has really messed with your head of what you need to like, what you need to be like. And, only in the last 6 months have I only really realized of what I enjoy and what my passions are, without trying to impress and bring other people in. And, like it's important, I think, to try and figure out exactly what you actually want without other people's opinions, other people's thoughts. Get people out of your head and just do what you want to do. And I've always found when I do that, I find more people get attracted to you anyway. So if you just focus on yourself, like, you're only one person, like, be yourself. Like, you need to be yourself. You need to find what you want to do. Take a small bits of things from other people if you find that you are passionate about that, but don't rely on their thoughts or everything about them and their passion for it to drive your passion for it, because it's not really about that. You need to
it's very true. Like, it's I guess the conundrum there is, we look and see what other people are doing, and we see that they're successful, they've got the vanity metrics are going up, they're getting all the likes, or they just look like everything's together. And when we're doing our things that we love, I think the thing that we forget is, for me, I'll just use an example. At the moment, I'm enjoying running, doing my reselling, I'm doing my podcast, building out my my life, taking a chance on me, and I've been doing stuff in Pokemon as well, right? And all of a sudden, I'm starting to share that. That's what I'm sharing to people in my network. And when I don't see, likes going up, or if I don't see people coming back and, having comments or conversation, it's like, well, what's going on? But when you think about it, these are my interests. These are the things I'm sharing. This isn't the stuff that they've asked for. This is the stuff that I want to give. This is the stuff I want to tell. And, you can't then compare that, because you're not getting people maybe engaged in that, but someone else is getting people engaged in that same stuff, but their community is already built around that. So it's like sort of like for like compare. It's like when I started, when it's funny, I look back on it now and I can laugh, but when I started my running YouTube channel, it was all about running. And here I am going to tell my friends that do not run. They don't watch running. They have nothing to do with running. I'm saying, go watch my YouTube, like, you'll love it. And they're like, no, like they don't want to offend me, but they're like, and so my expectation there, it's totally off. So it's different if you're already in that community of running, you're a runner, you're not doing the YouTube, but all of a sudden you're working with them, you say, oh, I'm going to start documenting my running. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I want to see that because your community is already the running. So I think we can be so hard on ourselves, and we would never know this until you go through that experience. It's hindsight, right? But it helps you understand that, okay, there's actually nothing wrong with what I'm doing. It's all in the head, and we're just comparing so much, which is expected because that's all we see is everyone else's highlights.
Yeah. Well, we see everyone else. We think we have to fit in, and I know, like, I live in a small town. Like, it can be tough here. Like, you don't get as much culture as you do in big Sydney, in big cities like Sydney, and which I'm moving down next year, and I'm really excited for, just because I know that there's going to be every single person like me, and I feel like I'm, sometimes out of place in Port. I feel like a bit more out there than some people, and I in a way I sort of like it. It just brings a bit more, individuality to myself. But I'm excited to then go to Sydney and sort of meet other people who are similar to me, and I can find a lot more similar interests too. But that's a bit off topic. But
no, but it's true, right? Because as you go through that journey, though, what will be making you happy will change, right? Because maybe the opportunities you have now being in a small town, they're not as big or as vibrant or out there. So what you do is you play your sports, you do your video game business, and that's what makes you happy, which is fine. But then once you move away, there'll be new things. You might find someone, go into a relationship that changes things. You might find new hobbies, might take up something else or go experience something. And maybe the business changes all completely, but things change, life changes. But I guess if we don't embrace it and be open to having that happiness come through, then we will always stay the same and stay stagnant. But like for me, I mean, once again, never really dabbled in Pokemon. Now that I've got the time, and I wanted to as a kid, wasn't allowed to, I've decided to explore it, and I literally feel like a little kid that is opening up Pokemon cards again, and it's been that experience. And if someone asked me 2 years ago, would I be doing live streams of Pokemon, I'd be like, no, that's not really what I want to do. I just want to focus on the running. But now I'm doing the running, I'm doing the podcast, I'm doing Pokemon cards, and there'll probably be more stuff that I'll end up doing because it will adapt and change. And I think accepting who you are and being willing to share that, it's not easy, but it's going to enable you to grow quicker.
It's getting past that barrier of not caring what other people think, and I think we talked about it last time. It's so important, and it's vital in your success of what you want to do to not care. Like, people might not be you might have friends who don't like you might have people in your life who don't think Pokemon cards are interesting or cool, or they might have chatted terrible things about them, and that might put you off. And like, there might have been a period where you're like, I don't want to do that. Like, few of my friends don't like it. Who cares? Don't be friends with them. They don't have to talk about it. Like, at the moment, I really want to start pushing my van. I'm renovating a van at the moment. I want to try and push that as a social platform in a way. Like, I want to push that avenue and see what I can do with it. And like, sure, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, all my friends are going to see this, but it's like, I don't care. I want to do something. And if it's out there, it's out there. Like, I'm passionate about it. So why can't I do that? Like,
it's all mindset and in your head. But the 5 people that you're comparing yourself to of what they will think, maybe because it's close friends, or the ones that you feel like you want to impress, they're probably the least likely ones to even watch it or even be relevant. It's like, when people say, oh, go ask for feedback on something, but don't ask your parents or don't ask your brother, because they're probably just going to give you a nice answer, tell you what you want to hear. What you need to be asking people in that community. You need to be asking people that have no attachment to you and can be like, oh, this sucks. Or they can be like, no, this is really good. It might be really hard to take, and I get that, but it's more evident, and being able to get that real feedback is going to then enable you to think, okay, if my stuff does suck, that's okay. How do I make it better? Right? Because, some people choose words which, sometimes mean different things to our understanding versus what they're actually implying. The content might suck, but it might not mean that you suck, right? Because some people, when we start filming and start creating content, where it's bare bones, it's basics, but as you learn and grow, you can reflect and improve. But it can be a bit of a challenge to go through it, because everyone's trying to pursue happiness. Everyone's trying to be happy or be themselves, or embrace whatever it is that they want to do. And I think you already kind of mentioned is around we shouldn't be scared about giving those things a try. But I'd love to, we kind of touch on it's like, it's just comparing to other people. But do you think, maybe the question is, what do you think we have to be scared of? Or when dealing with that fear, how do you think we can manage that? Like, is there anything, it might just be a cliche answer, but is there anything that you would try to do?
I guess it really comes down to just, I guess it's just not caring. And I know that sounds it sounds cliche, like you said, it just sounds dumb, just not caring. But there are some things in the world you need to just not worry about. Like I think I watched a video today on Tik Toks saying something about like, just stop worrying about things you've done in the past, because your past kind of you. It's sort of like that. It's like I'm not going to worry about the past. I'm not going to dwell on it. And just like something I'm scared of, like I want to push myself. Like I'm here to live life. Like why shouldn't I just push myself to what I want to do, no matter what people think? Like who cares if that guy from school says that what I'm doing is dumb? It's like I'm
it doesn't matter.
I appreciate it. Like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not making this for you. Like, I don't know. I felt like when I was younger, I used to delve in the YouTube thing, as we all did, and I made a few like dumb FIFA videos, and that was tough. I was just thinking about it yesterday. I remember a bunch of like some of the popular kids at school. I remember that someone sending me a photo of them all sitting around a lounge watching it, laughing at me. Okay. And I thought to myself, and I was thinking about it yesterday, I was like, that was like around the period that really lowered my confidence levels. Because I'm just like, I'm out here I've always been that sort of kid, like sort of been out there, like wanting to do things. And like, you do that stuff. And, I don't mind that they're laughing. It's just, but it sort of did, it struck a nerve. And even yesterday when I thought about it, I was like, damn, that's not really a nice thing to do. Like I guess we're kids, we're growing up like that, but it's you need to just get over that. And that's, that's the high school aspect of it. But now when you in the 20s, I feel like what you want to do, that you can do it. So you just need to push. And even if that sort of stuff does happen, there are people out there who will get enjoyment from whatever you do. And that's inevitably what you're trying to do, make people happy, make people laugh, whatever sort of content you're trying to do, inform. Like you're trying to connect with someone. As long as you connect with one person, you've done your job.
That's it. It's and I totally agree with you. It's very cliche, but it's actually probably really the only thing you can do. And you just got to do it in small bites and work through it and breaking it down, because it's not as simple as like just flicking a switch and all of a sudden you don't care, because we have feelings, we have emotions. It's like, we're human. But trying to work through it and trying to bring some perspective to it and things like that, because a lot of people laugh at it, and sometimes people, they're just joking, trying to have some fun. Some people have no idea, right? And they can laugh all they want, but going into this with confidence and thinking, well, at the end of the day, this is what I can do. I have freedom of time. I have, I'm earning some money, or bringing that perspective. And it's not about throwing that back into their face, but knowing that, well, why am I doing this? And then playing that back to yourself and realizing, well, actually, I get to do this. I can do that. And helping you weigh up that perspective will help give that fresh mindset. And I've had to do it quite a few times, because you get so worked up. Oh, why aren't I progressing? Why aren't I here? Why aren't I there? And it's like, well, actually, I'm exactly where I need to be, because I couldn't have been any further, because I kind of, I haven't done this, or I'm not spending the same amount of time, or I haven't invested in that. So you can't compare if you haven't done the same. If you've done exactly the same thing, maybe you can compare, but no one is doing exactly the same thing. So it's a bit of a topsy-turvy kind of conversation, but I think at the end of the day, it really just comes down to just got to get over it and move forward.
Yeah. Are you happy where you are at the moment, Chris?
Oh man, I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
Great.
It's been a great reflection over the last few months of just what I'm doing, and the freedom of time. And it's come up a few times of just, me doing this podcast or being able to resell and have the freedom of time. And obviously half of this year I've been in lockdown, which does make it a bit of a struggle. But at the same time, the stuff that I've been doing during lockdown is the stuff that I would have been thinking about wanting to do if I was working for someone else. So that changes it. And I work long hours, but I'm not stressed. I am worry free. And I mean, I'm always doing things, but everything I'm doing is building out my own little enterprise, working on myself, or to further my lifestyle, right? And that's really my intent. And at the same time, everything I'm doing, I'm trying to do to share, to tell others that you can do exactly the same thing. So walking the talk or walking the walk, right? And yeah, man, it's happy days. Happy days.
Yeah, happy days for sure. Like I love our lifestyle. Like I love just the lifestyle of a reseller. It's so much fun. It's so, I'd even go as far to say how easy it is, to be honest. And like, I don't think people take advantage of it. Like I think I went op shopping the other day. I was listing up just a bunch of DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff. If you even just go to an op shop, sit through the DVDs and just look at some obscure stuff, and I bet you'll make money. Like I found these two movies like from the early 2000s that had some big names on them. One was rated R. I can't remember the name of it. It was just this crazy looking cartoon. I was like, that looks like decent. Bought it. Found another one with like Neil Patrick Harris or some like blog website thing from way back, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Listed them up for both $30 today. Like, and I expect them to sell for that. And it's like I paid $1 each. It's just like it's some of the easiest money, and it's so much fun, like to make it like that.
It's funny though, because like I could get a haul of stuff, which I know I just did, and I won't go into the details here, but let's say I got 450 items from a haul, yet I'm already, I was at the post office the other day and I'm looking through, is there anything here that I can flip? Like, it's like, it's just so fun. Like, and it's the closest thing to a thrift, but like, I have, I've picked up movies for $5 and flipped them for $50, brand new seal, just because, they were last one's clearance and they've just been sitting there for like 5 years, and dead stock, but you can't buy them anymore. And for me, it's always a hunt. It's always an opportunity. It's like, well, 5 into 50, why wouldn't I? Like, I don't need to, but it's like, it's just free. Like, it's free money.
It seems like such a cool skill to have. Like, I don't even think about it now. I'm thinking about it now. Like, if I go to any other country, like maybe I might not be able to use eBay, but within, there's always going to be some form of, online selling that I can find something really cheap and then flip it. And no matter where I go, even in Australia, it's like I have this skill now where I can sort of figure out, the metrics of how I can do something like this. And, even in my van, inevitably, I'd love to still do some side reselling on the road. Like, it'd be fun.
Yeah. But I mean, you take this and you apply it to any other passion, industry, or hobby, goals. It's exactly the same setting, right? Once people are in their element, if let's say you're all about veggie gardens, you can go build veggie gardens for anyone, anywhere. Let's say you're a yoga teacher, you've certified, you can go teach yoga online. You can go travel anywhere in the world and teach yoga. Like, all these things enable us to so many more opportunities. But unless you start on that path, on that journey to get to that position to be able to do it, and I'm not saying you're in the position to just be able to do anything and everything. What I'm saying, and it gives you the opportunity to try new things, to potentially try anything and all that jazz. Like, as you said, you're reselling in a van, and you're not bound to one place. You can go do other things. You could go surfing in the morning, thrifting in the afternoon, and selling at night. I mean, the possibilities. Like, there's a guy on YouTube that I watch, and he lives in a van, but he's a video gamer. Like, he just plays games.
I've seen him. I've seen him.
And he's out in the middle of the woods, and he's got like internet. He's got it's just unbelievable. And the guy's got like, however many 100,000 followers on YouTube, and literally he's getting paid to live in a van, to play video games, and just live life.
He found a passion. He found like, and especially when you're going to that social media aspect, maybe it is nice to find that niche in a niche, if you make that makes sense. Like, he's found a van. He's gaming in a van. I guess gaming isn't much of a niche anymore, but he's found a little spot for himself that maybe not many other people have found. He's a likable character, and he can make
peculiar
content. Yeah, exactly. And That's so interesting. It's just so interesting that you can do that in society. And like, and people don't push for it because they're worried of what people are going to think. They're worried that people might see, you know, their job might see what they're doing and not like it, or their future job. It's like, in my mind, I don't want to work for, you know, 30 years for something I don't want to do. Like, I'd rather spend, you know, 10, 15 years trying to follow a passion. And inevitably, if I know that I am passionate about it and I put in the effort, just from like this, I know that I can do anything that I put my mind to at the moment.
Mate,
so
that's like the best advice to even wrap it up as well, because like if I had I mean, I've always been hustling and grinding to have something bigger and better, you know, to work for myself ever since I was young. But to have that mindset in action and executing what you're doing right now, dude, you're already like, well, you're 21, I'm 30, you're already 9 years ahead essentially, because what I'm doing is kind of taking the chance on me now, right?
Yeah.
Not saying that everything I've done hasn't been that chance, because I've had to grow and go through life and everything. Like, it's very important to do that. And but for you, you've obviously, whatever got you into this position, and you took a chance on yourself to, I'm going to start doing this, I'm going to build a business, dude. It's incredible. And I think anyone, whether you're older or younger or the same age as Matt, learn from him, right? Because he's just taken what he's passionate about and, you know, ran with it and figured it out as he's gone. And you can do it when you're 30, because I'm doing it now. You can do it when you're 21, you can do it earlier, and you can do it in between or even late. So there's no, you know, right or wrong time. It's the right time is now, really, actually, is, you know, take that decision to take action. But
even you, Chris, like I learned so much from you, like even from our discussion the other day, and just from your hustle levels and the amount of detail you go into, you know, something that, you know, coming from a kid who just sort of just resold on the side, and, you know, it's led to, you know, I look at your detail and I'm like, damn, I'm way behind. And, you know, that's something that obviously I need to improve. But, you know, it's so interesting to see you at your age, even at your age. Like, I don't know many 30-year-olds who are like, I'm gonna do this, and this is what I'm gonna do. And I've followed you for the last year, just watching you do it, and it's amazing. And I know that you're gonna go far, because I know how concentrated and
I appreciate that, and
you are with it.
But that once again, it's kind of like, with that, it's kind of like, you know, I've wanted to do what I've been doing. I didn't really know in the detail when I was your age, but it took me that long of experience, you know, understanding life perspective, to then really kind of just rip the band-aid off and make it happen. And, you know, that is the difference, because you're already starting that journey earlier, and now you get to learn and go through it. And I went through the experience of, okay, this is all this stuff, going through life, building a career, which has been the best thing that I could have done, because it's enabled me to then have the understanding and perspective of what I have now. But no, dude, thank you. But at the same time, like, I'm super excited to see where you're going to go. But before we finish, I want to just finish up with some more, you know, rapid fire questions, just for a bit of fun. I think last time we touched on a few different ones, but this one I've tried to come up with some fun and unique ones. So the first one being, you win 10 grand today. What are you doing with it?
I'm flying. Can we fly now?
Yes, we can. 1st of November, we can fly. Yeah.
I'd fly to the UK and go watch football for a month. There you go.
That's awesome. Cool. If you could have coffee or chat with anyone that, you know, that's existed in time, whether it's old, past, future, whatever, who would it be and why?
Who would it be and why? I don't know, just off the head, maybe The Rock. I'm not a huge Rock fan, but he's just his mindset and just his business aspects. Like, I see a lot of celebrities these days, just the business mindset they have with being famous is amazing, and being able to create brands off a famous person is interesting. So I'd love to just get the business aspects and the grind aspects. I love how he gyms like 4 hours a day.
That's crazy. That's actually really cool and totally random, but I love it, because didn't he just release a rap video?
Yeah, something
I'm
like that.
I'm pretty sure he did, which is totally random, but it just once again proves that whole point, how he's continuing to scale, grow, and it's cool.
Yeah, like being in movies, like coming from WWE, it's just, you know, just entering just destroying different barriers of what you can do these days, which leads back to passion. You can do anything, because look at The Rock, he started at WWE. Look at, I don't know, YouTubers like KSI, bloody hell, he's a musician now. Like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous in my mind.
It is crazy. Okay, the next one then, and you can either do one or the other. Favorite movie or TV show, if you had to pick one.
Oh, movie. I feel very strange. I give it a draw between The Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction. I'm too stuck in there. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Oh, I don't know if I can pick a movie. There's too many. I have an amazing top 10 movies.
Okay, no, that's. I mean, there is a lot. Like I get it. It's always fun to hear what comes first to mind, because then the longer you do it, you start to think of more and more, and you're like, oh,
more and more, yeah.
So that's fine. We'll leave it there. Favorite Pokemon.
Let's say Pikachu. I'm gonna get a Pikachu tattoo this month.
Oh, that's cool.
So I think I gotta say Pikachu. What about you?
So mine is Torchic.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is that from the game? Did you play?
So Torchic is Generation 3, so from Pokemon Ruby, and it's like the fire starter Pokemon. That was the one I always picked when I played Ruby. Fun fact for those that don't know, it's that and its evolves are the only chicken Pokemon in the whole of Pokemon.
Interesting fact.
I'm quite surprised by. I would have thought there would be more chicken Pokemon, but there's a lot of bird Pokemon, but yeah, chicken. Yeah. I love chickens.
There's rooster Pokemon.
Potentially, but I think that's the one it evolves into, which is Blaziken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, and then the final one, which is probably a tough one, a video game character which you think reflects or mirrors you the best.
Ratchet from Ratchet and Clank.
Okay, it wasn't that hard then.
Yeah. First to mind.
Yeah, okay. No, that's good. Well, dude, this has been really great. I love having these chats, and I mean, I know we've chatted quite a lot of recent, but having this, it's just been great. And for around those life lessons, I guess if there was anything that you kind of wanted to swing back at the audience and leave them to kind of just digest, what would that be?
Just follow your passions and don't worry what people think of them. I think that's the most vital thing is if you enjoy it, like, people will see that you enjoy it, and that's what they will like about you. If someone is judging you for something, a passion of yours, they're just jealous. Like I think Gary Vee says it about haters, like they're literally just jealous people putting negativity into the world. If you're passionate about it, follow it, and follow your dream and do something you want to do.
That's it. Wise words. I love it. So young, and you're very switched on. But if you can figure out how to do that, folks, work through it. It's a battle. It's a challenge. I think it will make your life and your journey so much easier to be able to, I guess, grow and scale and move forward. So, I mean, you're part of Retro. I mean, you own and you're running Retro Gaming, so people know all that already. So, where should people follow you if they want to follow a bit more behind the scenes or to follow your other passions?
Well, I just started a TikTok van video thing, so maybe we can put the link in the bio for that, if that's okay. But Matt is Retro Gaming, and just retrogaming.au, like my face is all over it. All over both. I'm more active on retrogaming.au, and maybe come follow our retrogaming.au TikTok. We just got a video over 1 million views, which was pretty sick.
Dude, that is awesome. That's cool. That's super cool. All this is in the bio, guys. Go check it out. And if you are watching the YouTube, some of it will be on screen as well. But Matt, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you back. And I mean, we've been chatting for a good hour or almost an hour, so it's gone very quick. Dude, I can't say thank you enough. And I hope you have a wonderful day, man.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on, Chris. I really enjoy our talks, and I'm sure we're going to talk a little now and a little later. But
that's it.
I'm very grateful. So thank you for having me on.
No worries. Cheers.
See you later.
Well, there you go. Another episode done and dusted. And what I love so much about Matt is he is where I wanted to be when I was his age. So he's 21, almost 22, and he is absolutely winning at things. Now, obviously, we can always be learning, we can always be growing and changing and doing better. But what I want to say here is that if you're someone around Matt's age and you're doubting yourself, you're not sure about starting or not sure how to move forwards, the key thing here is to take a chance. Take a step, pursue those dreams, pursue those goals, and be willing to give it a go. And the other thing is not care about what people think. Now, regardless if you're Matt's age, older than me, younger, whatever, the same thing applies. A lot of the time it's ourselves that's putting this big boundary in front of us, enabling us to get to where we want to be. And a lot of that waiting comes with not believing in yourself and having too much concern of what other people think. So it's been an absolute awesome episode. Lots of lessons, lots of takeaways, and I really enjoyed this. It was more just a conversation, and Matt's a great guy. You can go check out all his different socials. All those details are in the show notes and also in the description if you are watching the YouTube experience. Of course, if you would like to connect further with us, more than happy to have that conversation as well. You can hit us up on Instagram at Further Your Lifestyle. You can hit us up on Twitter at Further Your Life, or you can hit us up with an email at hello@furtheryourlifestyle.com. Either way, really do appreciate you being here, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to bridge this conversation between Matt and yourself, and you have a wonderful day. Cheers. Now, if you didn't know, we do have the podcast merch, and this is with a key focus of enamel pins. Now, if you haven't checked these out, make sure you do, because the intent of these are really just to be a small token and a reminder for you to charge on, to push on, and to further your lifestyle. Whether it is a gift for someone else to encourage them, or maybe to inspire them, or maybe it's a way to motivate yourself, or you can simply just make a purchase to simply support the podcast, which would be greatly appreciated. We do also have some sweaters and some long tees, so make sure you check it out. Link in the description and in the show notes. Really do appreciate it. Cheers.